Good morning and welcome to your Ascension reading. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Keep in mind these readings are general and collective, so receive only what resonates, release what does not. If you're interested in more content, I do have an Instagram, My Soul Tribe Tarot, but be aware that there are scammers out there who are copying profiles. I will never reach out to you asking if you want a reading. I will never direct message you or message you in the comments, okay? What these scammers are doing, they'll either will be copying the post, trying to make them as their own, or they will copy a profile. And then, so just kind of be aware of that. If you're if anyone reaches out to you, especially My Soul Tribe Tarot with 2 T's at the end, that person is a scammer. Please report them and block them and all accounts they create, and help to keep our community safe. Okay, and then for those of you that want to work in more of an intimate space, a smaller space, I do have a Patreon. One of my Patreons, Bloom, is for those of you who would like assistance with Ascension. It's where I have all my extra content, where I have my deep dive readings, as well as share personal experience about my own Ascension and many tips and tools to assist you. And then I also have an extended videos only membership as well on my Patreon for those of you who like extended videos, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in. So what are the energies for Ascension this week for us to be aware of, our highest and greatest good? So we have the Knight of Pentacles energy, which is a slow and steady wins the race, right? There's no need to rush. Take your time with the details. You know, when you are working, make sure that you're periodically grounding yourself, especially if the work that you're doing is maybe online or isn't a type of work where you really are working with your hands. Okay, this also requires a bit of trust with the timing with the Knight of Pentacles. I would also say at the end of the day, call your energy back to you, cleared, so that it looks like, he's leaving this value kind of all over the place. So be aware of where you're leaving your light and call it back to you. One thing to be aware of on this journey is that the way we assist others the most is by walking our highest timeline and being that example. Okay, we're not here to transmute other people's energies or do their work for them. So our energy is meant to be our energy. And then, one thing that you can do is help people connect with source energy for their own journey. Okay, so that's something to be aware of here with this Knight of Pentacles. You might have a lot of masculine energies also kind of just showing up in your world. Okay, because we do have the nectar. And when I see this, it's like you're the remedy. You have found the sweet spot. You have found the answer. People look at you. You have the it factor. Whether you're modeling, whether you are, whatever it is in your career, just the way you show up in this world. And the reason is you know how to alchemize the light and the shadow. You've integrated both. You can tell those who have true spiritual power or actually have access to that because they did their shadow work, because they have done that work on their ego to balance it out, to love themselves, to not give their power away, to connect in with source and their inner being and their higher self to create their reality. You have this gorgeous life, you have this gorgeous energy. So you are going to be attracting in many different energies, and that's something to be aware of here, okay? Like you have the secrets of the universe. That's the way people are looking at you. Or they're just drawn to you and they don't know why, but it's because like you have this, you've done all of this work and you really do shine out here with that nectar energy, okay? It's like your flowers in bloom and you're attracting in the honeybees, okay? So for whatever that is, definitely make sure that you tune your frequency for your highest timeline or a higher timeline, because you're going to be attracting in quite a bit here. And it might not be overwhelming. It might be, at a slower pace, but it's just like, to create this nectar, there was a process, right? It wasn't rushed. There was alchemy, there was integration, there was shadow work, there was all of this transmutation, there was even pain and pleasure, there was those of you that did those deep dives into your heart space to clear out, the densities so that you have more capacity to feel joy and to hold more light, okay? And your warriors to be able to hold light, because that means you went through so much healing of wounds within, right? So, People are seeing your highlights. People are definitely seeing your highlights, but they don't necessarily know your secrets or your journey with that nectar, okay? And clarifying the nectar, we have the desert. So if you are, asking for something outside of yourself, this could have to do with your, your stability or your security. Be sure to ground yourself and connect in with and acknowledge your, your value and your connection with source. And again, I feel people will be reflecting back to you this incredible energy that you have because you've done so much work here. But with the desert, I'm also getting that people that are empty or people that feel drained or people that, again, are seeking your wisdom, your guidance, your energy, your healing, your services, whatever that may be, they're going to be finding you here, or they're going to be called to you here. Be discerning, okay? Be discerning and really trust in your inner being, your intuition as to who you want to work with or who you want to connect with. Or even if, you have a lineup of souls that you're working with here, that you take space for yourself to recharge, okay? But this is saying, like, you're someone's prayer, you're someone's answer. And I just strongly, especially with the Knight of Pentacles, people might want to come forward to you and they just want that, that magic, that miracle to happen, that magic to happen, but they have to do their own work as well. So be sure that you're not allowing energies to be codependent on you, that you're empowering them to do their work, you're not taking on their work, okay? Because then you could feel a little bit drained here. Some of you could have, some energies come back from the past and they're begging to connect with you. They're begging to talk to you. That's just another message that's coming through for some of you. Of course, receive what resonates, but, you are abundant. Your energy is just, it's incredible here, and many people can sense that. Next, we have the Siren, clarified by the forest. So we have another message of, again, there's this sensuality, there's this attractive quality, almost like Queen of Wands. The Siren archetype is like the fairy or the mermaid, like you are a magical creature walking this earth, right? Is what, how people are looking at you, or some of you are just starting to explore different energies. And, with the forest here, it is an adventure, it is exciting. For some of you, you're exploring these different shadow archetypes within you, especially, if you're exploring your inner feminine at this time. But just, again, have that discernment. That's something that is important with the Siren and the forest. But some of you are called to go out in nature. You are called to be at certain places at certain times. Again, check in with your inner being and your guides, and be sure that it is for your highest and greatest good, right? And that you are in a high frequency. Adjust your frequency first. Raise your frequency first before connecting. Okay? So there's no sort of interference. And I feel like some of you will really be, wherever you're at in the world, like you will be called to go to a certain place. It doesn't have to be a forest, but you're just guided to go to certain places. And so listen to what is in alignment, feels best for you, and still put that bubble of protection around yourself. Call on your guides, take your time here. Don't rush. That is the biggest message. Take your time, slow things down, feel things through. With the Knight of Pentacles, he could easily get on that horse and travel at a faster speed, but he's not even on the horse. He's walking, right? So that could be a specific message for masculines watching this now. There's also many feminine archetypes that are coming out this week. So you could be seeing that within your friends, within your family, within your partners. But the forest, is a beautiful energy. It looks like there's this depth to explore here. Just be sure, again, that your energy is clear. You do have your protection, your light around you, and you also are tapped in with your internal guidance system here, so that, again, you don't deal with any interference or distraction, that you are discerning. And then next we have the Vow, followed by the Eternal Child. Okay, the Eternal Child is about joy. The Eternal Child is about living life of joy. With the Vow, it's somebody here could be, I'm getting many messages. Somebody could be expressing like, you are my joy, or you are my path, or something of that nature. Something quite significant could be declared. Of course, listen to your intuition as to what's in alignment with you and what you want. Don't get caught up in the moment is what Source is saying here. But with the eternal child, I feel like your ancestors or somebody within your life who's really significant is like saying, hey, promise me that you will live a life that you love, that you will live a life by your design, that you will enjoy your life, that you will connect in with your highest timeline. This has been coming through so strong, of joy. That you will break this this pattern of shadow, or this pattern of being held back by fear, or this pattern of whatever it is in your family, or whatever it is connected with this specific person. I do feel like there's some sort of a mentor here. Or if it's some of you that you're connected with somebody who's, kind of trying to dull your shine, or an energy that you're breaking free from that. But it's just this sense of, promise me you'll live your life to the fullest, that you will live a life that is in alignment and feels best for you with the eternal child. It's also a reminder that we are divine children on this earth, and that we can connect in with the elements, we can connect in with the earth, and just take a moment to realize how we are held, how we are nurtured. Even for those of you who maybe around people that are not as awakened, okay, and you don't feel as supported, understood, at this time, connect with nature, connect with your guides, connect directly with Source, because that's going to assist you in nurturing you and empowering you and bringing you wisdom. And it's much better to have your own connection with Source in your inner being than to go through someone else, okay? Because you don't want to give your power away. You really want to have that and build that beautiful connection and experience with Source and with your higher self, to build that trust, to build that relationship. But I see a cycle closing out with a vow as well. So some of you, again, from past lives, or you could be just clearing out these cycles quite rapidly. And the divine energy is assisting you with that. I also feel like, if you are doing a lot of clearing of energy, if you can, being in the sunlight or being outside, again, there's just this call of nature coming through. If you can't, and let's say you're working inside, having flowers or high vibrational crystals, we have flowers, crystals, bright colors, around you that inspire you, that uplift you. You might have a specific painting that calls to you this week, or you want to wear brighter colors, because we have all these rainbow and these bright, beautiful colors coming through. And that might be something you're called to do here, okay? Some of you, it's make or break time in relationships, okay? For those of you that are in relationships, again, there could be cycles that are ending here, that were restricting you. What's really interesting is at the end of the spread, we have the devil in reverse, okay? And this means you have learned a very significant lesson about discernment, about trusting yourself, and when you're living your life in alignment, because when you're living your life in alignment, it's almost like you're rewarded, because things are flowing, things are going in a way that feel good to you. But when you're living a life out of alignment, you notice that you can feel, oh, that wasn't the best choice for me to make. Or I could have adjusted this, I could have done this differently. But it's always important that when you do that, the eternal child, that you have that compassion for yourself of oh, that's how I learned, okay? So a silly example, but I just have to share it, and some of you might be gamers out there. I like those puzzle games. And when you play those puzzle games, they always have different challenges. And even when you lose, you run out of your, you run out of your turns, each time that you lose, you learn something different about that. Oh, I could have done that strategy. Oh, I see how that works, right? So it's an adventure within itself to be successful, or to realize, oh, that means, I'm in alignment, or, oh, maybe I should have, I'm a little drained. Maybe I should have cut that conversation off, 20 minutes ago. That person is going on and on. Because with the desert, we do have this sense of people trying to connect, and there could be energy vampires, people that don't mean to be. Some do, some don't. So again, discernment. This is all about you learning on your journey, okay? And loving the way that you learn. But with the devil in reverse, this is you saying, no, you're blocking it out. Any opportunities or offers or potential partners that are coming back and trying to offer something, you're not going to have it here, okay? You can see through it, all right? Also, I feel like you see through your own toxic behaviors, you see clearly, and you're making better choices for yourself. Like for so many of you, you were on a timeline that was repeating patterns from like your family, right? But that weren't really in alignment with you. But now you're not doing that. Okay, you're breaking that cycle, and you have a lot of help to do that. I feel like you're almost there, or at the end of this week, you're really going to be feeling the relief of breaking that cycle, and it's making a different choice. It's making a conscious choice. Okay, I just want to clarify the Devil reverse, and then we're going to look into the relationship energies. Yeah. If someone presents an offer to you that is convoluted, then you know that's not for you. Okay. If they're not clear, if they're muddling things, if it doesn't make sense to you, even if, you can apply this to readings, you can apply this to anything. If something's presented to you and it confuses you and it maybe emotionally even feels heavy to you, that's not on your timeline or meant to be, okay? Unless you're like, you go into that reading or you go into that experience or what you're observing with a high frequency consciousness where you're like, oh, I'm going to transmute this, or I'm going to work through this. But don't take on someone else's timeline and get dragged down, okay? Because you're here to create the new. You're here to walk your timeline of your joy, of your happiness, okay? And even when we're going through density or challenges or shadow work, when we have that higher consciousness around the higher timeline, it flows, it feels so natural. You have this confidence about you. So be aware of those who are trying to pull you into a lower timeline, and that includes any sort of external media or anything like that, okay? Don't take on a timeline that's not yours. Don't take on responsibilities that are not yours. If you're watching a reading and information comes out and it just doesn't feel, like that's your situation, click off, okay? That's somebody else's story. You don't need to be taking that on in your energy field, right? That's kind of a shadow side of readings, or a shadow side of like if you are seeking outside of yourself and not connecting within to receive your own answers and develop your own connection. Okay? So rise. Continue to rise. And to continue to allow clarity and bring clarity into your experience. Keep your energy clear. Focus on what brings you joy, your passions. Some of you are going to be exploring a little bit more with your, it's not necessarily your identity, but like your image. You're going to be maybe changing, your style here with the Siren energy. Some of you are going to be feeling certain callings, and you're going to have to decide, okay, is this on my highest timeline, or is this dragging me into a lower timeline? But I do see also with all these beautiful bright colors, there is this divine protection around you. But keep in mind that if, you haven't learned a lesson about, let's say, there's a specific show that you watch, or a source of media that you watch, and maybe it's been addicting to you, but it's really negative, and then after you watch it, you kind of feel pulled down, you feel in a lower frequency. It's almost like that created an energy leak within your field. So spirit or source is going to allow that to happen until you realize, oh yeah, that's not for me anymore. That doesn't resonate with me anymore. That's an old paradigm. Then you're going to make that change and, clear out and seal your energy field, okay? And then, those are just those little adjustments that you can make to keep your energy vibrant and full, okay? And not get pulled down into like those lower timelines that, are not yours. And sometimes, you'll watch a reading, or you'll listen to something and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that resonated. But wait a second, I've graduated from that. And that is a moment of empowerment when you experience that. You're like, yeah, actually, I'm on a higher timeline than that. That's brilliant. Go me. You'll have those moments of brilliance where you're like, yeah, I went through that. That was my story. But now here I am creating this. I'm above this, looking down on this. And I have so much compassion for myself and this experience and everything. And, I'm moving on up. Okay? So beautiful. Yes, and especially with general readings, keep in mind it could be somebody else's story, somebody else's message. So have that discernment. And have that discernment overall when it comes to exploring anything spiritual. Instead of, giving your power away to others. All right. Let's look into love and relationships. So starting out, for those of you who are in a healthy, beautiful commitment, let's see the energy that is happening here. We have, thank you for being you, my light in the darkness, illuminate. The number 3. So you're already co-creating with spirit together. Your partner could be going through some shadow work or through some challenges right now, and you're really there for each other. And this came through. And again, receive it if it resonates, release it if it doesn't. But I love when humor comes through and the ways that the energy comes through. It's like, even if your partner's been a bit of a brat, like maybe they haven't been appreciating you, there's going to be something that's going to remind them that you are their light in the darkness. And they're going to express that appreciation here, maybe in their own way. But we have illuminate. So something is being illuminated to them about deeply appreciating you. So, and having this appreciation and gratitude for you, and you likewise could be that, you could have been the one, you take what resonates in relationships, we mirror back and forth to each other, but this is a beautiful energy with illuminate and the number 3. You are absolutely, co-creating with spirit. Keep in mind that might look very different, especially for those of you that maybe you're more awakened in your connection and you're, super spiritual, and the way, you do a lot of spiritual practices. But maybe your partner does things in a more practical way. The way they connect with spirit is in a more practical way. And keep in mind, like, source energy or your higher self will connect with you in a unique way so that you understand, okay, the messages that are coming through, so that you have that clarity. So don't judge your partner and is thinking like, oh, they're not doing, they're not connecting with source, because it's not the way you connect with source, okay? That's another message coming through. So that's beautiful. Let's go ahead and get a guidance card for you, feeling the world. Okay, so you both could be very empathic. You could have careers where you do work with the world or work with the energies of the world significantly here. But with feeling the world here, to me, connect with Gaia, connect with the earth, connect with the crystal grid, ground your energies right now as you're moving through the shadow work, or you are transmuting, you could also be transmuting collective wounds together. Just be aware of that. But with feeling the world, remind each other of your boundaries, remind each other of like your responsibility, what you're responsible for and what you're not responsible for. So you're not taking on things that are not yours. But definitely grounding, connecting with nature. Some of you might be thinking about traveling. Okay, that's coming through here. So yeah, that's really beautiful. I also feel like your connection, your example, the way that you both navigate in this world, or what you're creating together, does help the world significantly. You could be grid workers. That's something else that's coming through, because 3 and 1 is 4, and that makes me think of the 4 of Wands. Or you could be healing your relationship, and maybe there were a lot of challenges. Could be distance for some of you, even emotional distance, but where you're both called. Your calling has been taking up a lot of your time here. So I'm kind of sensing you're healing that as well. But you're grounding and establishing whatever it is that you're creating. It could be a relationship, but I feel like it's just a theme that's coming up for you right now. It's really quite beautiful. You're feeling more settled in yourselves, understanding, maybe even feeling safer, more settled in this world. Definitely appreciating each other with that illuminate. Because, of course, you see the light the brightest when it's in a dark space, right? That's when there's that contrast. That's when it stands out, when you see that polarity. Or even let's say you kind of get in a petty argument with your partner, and then you go out and you see other couples, fighting, or you see how they treat each other, and then it makes you deeply appreciate your connection. Like, there's just a lot of polarity and contrast that is illuminating here as well. Definitely shadow work happening, which is very important. Okay, so for those of you that are in separation, we have I just want a loyal companion, and we have into me I see, number 8. So you're finding that abundance within. Some of you might be connecting with the animal world more. You might have a pet that you're connecting with. You might, be dating and just want to focus on, friendships here. But to me, you're just focused on this compassion. We have completion as well. So, you could have something coming up here where maybe somebody just wants to be friends, or it's just this sense of I'm just getting a very warm, friendly energy coming through here. Again, I feel like some of you also might be adopting a pet, but with Into Me I See, you're also reconnecting with yourself here. And you're building an abundant world, and you're going to be receiving activations within your crown chakra. It's expanding, okay? You're going to be receiving light codes, also your third eye and your crown chakra. So kind of take note of that and be gentle. But with the number 8, that's a number of abundance. You're finding this abundance within. You're finding this deeper appreciation. Maybe you're releasing any form of codependency, or if you're in separation, maybe you're seeking something from someone that they couldn't give at that time. So you're finding that within, or you're finding that appreciation, that companionship, and the world is bringing you people and situations to show you true loyalty here. Okay. So there's a cycle ending, but a beautiful one beginning. And you're finding this unconditional love with Source, this unconditional love within yourself. And you're also finding, this deep appreciation for the energy that is protecting you here as well. I feel like you'll be going on some adventures here soon too. If you have a dog, or maybe you're going to be adopting a dog to go hiking. But there's something very satisfying about your energy for those of you who are in separation, where you just have this deeper appreciation for life, this zest for life that maybe you didn't have, not that you didn't have access to, but you weren't focusing on before, but now you are. So you've released attachment here, you've detached, and you are just focusing on, living a life that feels good to you, nurturing yourself, appreciating those little gifts and blessings and experiences that are showing up for you here. I feel like you're very inspired by the world as well. You're inspired by kindness. I also feel like you're sharing kindness. Connecting in with your tribe, okay, your soul tribe, which could be animals for some of you. I also feel like if you've been doing a lot of spiritual work, you're going to be receiving those blessings and that appreciation in many different ways, and it's going to feel very nurturing for you. It's like anything that you lacked from that relationship that you're in separation from, or from that person that you're in a separation from, is being fulfilled in other ways in your life that are loyal, that are, lasting, that feel, fulfilling. And you're also going through this transformation as well, where you won't be attracted to, older timelines. You won't be attracted to any sort of patterns that were holding you back, or people that were stuck in patterns, right? So very empowering message coming through for you in separation. For those of you who are dating, we have I'm lost without you, emptiness. You're clearing space, and we have great big love in reverse, okay? So what I'm getting here for those of you who are dating, make sure that you're finding that wholeness within yourself first and foremost, okay? Because you're not lost. You are not lost. You are on an adventure. You're discovering more about yourself, and you're clearing space, okay? You're in the void. In the void, when you're in the void, that's when your ego can come in. That's when, all these illusions can come forward here. This can even show to me too that you're matching up with somebody who's almost on the same journey as you, where they're discovering what that great big love is. What is unconditional love? Because with great big love in reverse, tells me you've not yet quite connected with Source in a way that is fulfilling or enlightening for you. You're not quite giving that love to yourself that you deserve. And when you fill yourself up, when you have that wholeness and that unconditional love within yourself, you're going to attract in somebody at that level as well. So somebody who, you know, brings their full cup of love to the table, not somebody who brings an empty cup and says, fill it up, please, you know, and drains you, or is, you know, a weight on your energy with this. This is a big lesson for you, for those of you that resonate with this. That number 7 is about, you know, a significant lesson. And you're realizing this, that connecting in with great big love is connecting in with source love. Okay, this came through in my Patreon reading, my Patreon Ascension reading. And it's that unconditional love, but that awe-inspiring love, not that conditioned love, not that, you know, that fantasy, but something that is truly grounded. Okay, when I say fantasy, because you think about all the movies and shows that we watched growing up and how we were conditioned, especially as feminine energies. One day, you know, somebody's going to come and save us, or what have you. All those old programmings, and that you're deconditioning, you're releasing all of that to connect in with that great big love, with it, which is source love, which is the love that is within you. So that when you go date, when you connect with somebody, when they find you and you meet up, again, you both are whole and complete, and it's a healthy love. Okay? You're not dependent on each other or codependent on each other. You're interdependent. And that's a big message that is coming through for you. For those of you who've not yet discovered that beautiful love, this great big beautiful love that's within yourself. Okay? Also, it's focusing on love in your life and letting love into your life. So when I say that, letting unconditional love into your life, you know, you might not be ready necessarily for romantic love at this time, and you might find that what you're attracting in right now, you don't necessarily want to attract in, and that's because your heart space is also blocked off. So make sure that you let unconditional love into your life. You know, those friends that offer you support, right? Those friends that bring love in, or those moments, you know, where you can really take in how beautiful life is, or those little miracles. Noticing them, having appreciation for them, helps to open up your heart. Also feeling, connecting into the heart and feeling and connecting in, what does your heart want to tell you, okay? Your soul speaks to you through your heart space. Not a conditioned romantic love, but through your heart space, okay? So developing that relationship with your heart is really helpful. It's almost like you're being blocked from meeting somebody until you have this firm foundation within yourself, until you have this firm navigation within yourself, so that you don't get pulled down paths that are disappointing or repeated cycles, or, you know, anything that is toxic for you, okay? And you progress from the 7 to the 8, because 6 and 2 is 8. So you have this progression, you have this beautiful fulfillment, and it is about where you are, where you're focusing here, okay? So for those of you maybe not tapped into your heart space, connected with your heart space, to really clear out any sort of, you know, emotional, energetic wounding, you know, work on that here. Connect with your angels, because I'm seeing those wings coming through. Angels of the highest light, you know, your guides of the highest resonance. Maybe do some of those beautiful guided meditations that you're called to here. But this great big love is here for you. It's just at this time you're not opening up to it, aligning with it, or I think even recognizing it yet. So receive what resonates, release what does not, you know. But if especially for those of you that are attracting in potential partners that are not in alignment with you or not what you want, you know, don't seek outside of yourself. Go within first. Connect with source, because you're going to adjust that frequency. You're going to open up your heart space and let that beautiful light flow through, which is going to help clear it. Okay, and then you'll align with what you desire to call in. So know that you are loved. Know that you are supported. Okay. And I feel like your higher self has been calling to you for a while. So definitely connect in. Take that time to meditate. Take that time to find the best ways for you to connect in with your higher self and with source energy. And I would say simple ways as well. I think you're overthinkers in this pile. Frankly, who isn't, right? But that's just kind of what is showing up here. So let that beautiful unconditional source love in. Connect with that. And then it's like you're connected to an infinite stream of love. Okay? All right, anything else? I think that is it. Thank you so much for joining me. Like this video if it resonates. Again, if you would like to connect in with anything that is, if you're seeking outside of yourself, right now you are so called to just go within, okay? We can be inspired by others. We can learn different tools. The best thing is to learn different tools, different energetic tools, meditation tools for our journey. But always, always, always trust in your, your internal compass and continue to build that beautiful trust within yourself, okay? Thank you so much for joining me. Take the best care. Have a beautiful, adventurous, satisfying week, okay? Thank you. I will see you soon.